My bestie's mans forgot to text her on New Year's, and I told her to just say, well, at least fuck me like 2023 did. And, well, she didn't laugh as hard as I did, that's for sure. Welcome back to Heard You Like It Raw. I'm your host, Nicolina, back at it again, diving into the raw truths of life. This one's going to be juicy, besties. Hide your kids, hide your wives, grab the tea, and buckle the fuck up. Before I get into this episode, we have news. Subscribers to this podcast will have access to video content for almost all of the episodes, as well as extended episodes and secret episodes, so be sure to check that out. Okay, now the goods. Did want to disclose that this is literally the fifth or sixth time I am recording this episode because of the quality being fucked up, or I posted it on Spotify wrong, or the link was invalid, or it just sounded awful, and I needed to re-record it. So my apologies for the late posting. I am really doing my best, and for those who can relate, Mercury did just get out of retrograde, so life will be getting better. And for those who don't care about that, it's my podcast. I can say what I want. And anyways, through all these little challenges of getting this episode out, I kept getting extremely frustrated because obviously I want this to be a good thing, and I had stayed up super late and lost a lot of sleep editing, so I was just like, oh, this is all frustrating. I was cranky, and I sat there and just laughed to myself because I was getting so frustrated going into a podcast that's going to be preaching about growing through what you go through and having patience with all of it. And ain't that kind of ironic right now? So just made me laugh. And in this episode, I want to tell you all about the last year that I had. A lot of chapters closed, a lot of new ones began, and wow, life really will give you, honestly, challenges after challenges and growth for your growth. I have said all year, 2023 rocked me. Fucked me so hard. January alone rocked me. Rocked me, guys. But as always, it's all for the greater divine purpose, so we can elevate, so we can be closer to our highest selves, our dream selves. That bitch you're looking at in the mirror and you're like, yep, we're gonna get this shit. The one that we all know when we're looking good as fuck, we're looking at ourselves and we're like, I can see you, that bitch. Well, you gotta go through a lot of growth and challenges for you to become that. And the universe does not fuck around. Okay, especially when you're like me, and if you want that change now, you want that success now, it's funny how quick that shit will manifest, but also it's funny how hard, life will literally just kick you through a damn wall. Oh, you want it? Bam, bam, bam. We're gonna give it to you hard, raw. And it's just funny, I have been learning all about manifestation and the law of attraction since the end of 2022, basically, and my mentor, Dana, who will actually be on an episode talking about manifestation soon, so stay tuned for that. But she's the one who taught me all about this, and it just constantly proved me right all the time. I wanted to doubt it. I have doubted it, but Miss Universe is loud, and she always makes so much sense, and nothing is a damn coincidence. And when you start asking for that next level, that change, that growth, you will watch shit die in your life, whether that be literally friendships and relationships ending or loss of jobs, etc. And my last year was wild, and all of this is wild when you watch this shit happen, when you start manifesting. And I'm not telling people how to live or think. This is just how I live. And with that, when you keep raising your own vibration and see the growth and the changes and how fast it happens with the more consistent you are, holy shit. The more energy you put towards it, holy shit. It's gotten to the point where I can have the most catastrophic thing happen to me, and I'm right, it's just part of the bigger plan. No biggie. That shit will work itself out. And especially after this past year for me, wow, fuck 2023. I'm so glad that bitch is over. A lot of growth. lot of growth, let me tell you. And I am very grateful for so much that has come out of it. But holy shit, bitch, I'm tired. All that bullshit can definitely stay in 2023. Fine by me. Bye, bitch. Right at the end of 2022, I had just turned 24. And, side note, because of my friend Alex that was in episode 4, I follow like my own personal New Year's with my ages and now celebrate those specific chapters in my life. And for me, it's really close to the new year, so it's always like a big pivotal time in my life. Lots of new ideas and energies. It's awesome. It's great. We love growing and evolving. And so when I turned 24, I went to New York with my besties and had, of course, the time of our lives. I actually, for anybody that has gone to the bar Double Chicken Please, we went there every single day that weekend, and it was just, it's incredible. It's the best place ever. I think about it daily, like fuck me up. And while I was there, I was daydreaming about what I wanted 24 to look like. And at the time, I was living with an ex. L number 3. This is also coincidentally going out on his birthday, which I think is absolutely hilarious. So surprise. And there's those stories about how like you only have 3 loves in life, and I just think that's bullshit. And I think you can love so many people in so many different ways. And something that I also don't like doing, something that I don't like doing with my exes is giving power to their names. So they just become like L number whatever. So like I always just think back to that story because they're like, oh, like love number 1, love number 2. But it's like, nah, there's so many. So they just get an L number, whatever. I can stand for like fucking lover, loser, or just a fucking L. Try again. And so L number 3 was the first person I dated that was younger than me. And wow, I will never do that one again. I will never do that one again. And I just know it's because I'm too in tuned with my emotions, and it really feels like dealing with a toddler when I think back to what it was like dating him, like with the outbursts and victimhood and just the conversations I had to explain on emotional intelligent level what I was like I had to explain this shit over and over again until he finally got it. And I'm one that hates repeating myself, so just and we really do always know, like immediately when you meet people, like trust that you do always know how it will play out. Trust your intuition and your gut because it's always fucking right. And as if I didn't have that, I had a million other red flags for this kid. And then I was like, yeah, I should probably move in with him. That's probably the best interest for me. That makes sense. We won't be like those other couples that move in. This will go great. And like, this is literally why I'm so fascinated by love, because it really has a chokehold on some people. And like looking back, I'm like, oh, you silly girl. But I was just glorified by the great sex and affirmations, So watch out. You got to be careful, everybody. Watch out for love. But I'm just kidding on that, actually. Y'all know I'm a hopeless romantic. Keep loving, keep falling in love. But also love yourself just as hard, if not fucking harder. Love yourself the fucking most. If your cup is not full, do not worry about anybody else's. And like that sentence alone right there was a big theme for me in 2023. Getting over the fucking people pleasing. Oh, we are not doing that shit anymore. These people in ways you really want to. Okay, like still give pleasure, you little dirty dogs, have fun, but don't be a people pleaser. Don't live for another's pleasure. Find yours. So, back to L number 3. I went to New York City for my birthday. Naturally, the city just always reminds people and makes you feel like you should be living the fast life and focusing on your career. And I'm from Jersey, so like I'm used to that go, go, go. Like Florida chilled me out for just a little bit. So now I was like, all right, let's go. And I knew where I wanted to be in the following August at the end of my lease there. And it was gonna be so far from the town we were in. And like with like my goals were just a completely different life. Like I wanted nothing to do with this life. And I was cool if L number 3 wanted to come with me or not. But also having like the prior knowledge of not everyone has to be a part of every chapter of your life. And that I knew where I wanted to go, and I knew that the right people would find me if he didn't, and all would have been well, and I still would have loved him for the time being. So long story short, I say to him at the end of December, like, look, this is where my goals are. What are your goals, and how can I, as your partner, best support you in achieving them? Fucking L at me for that one, me thinking that's the right thing to do. He literally says, like, I'm not good enough for you anymore. You know what, Nikki? Why don't you go find someone who... Actually, I'm going to pause right there. Because a little bit that kind of, like I can see how like, right, I seem like a little tough love there, right? Just kind of like, sorry kid, this I'm doing, fuck you, bye. And that's not what it is, because I'm really like too nice in love sometimes. Like he knew like for like the last 5 months of our relationship that he was lying about doing cocaine all the time and spending his money on that. And I still loved him unconditionally, and I still was loyal as fuck and still wanted what's best for him. And I knew the hurt from where he came from, and I knew that there was a way out of that hurt because I'd had my dark times, and I just wanted what's best for everybody. That's all I want for everybody. But I was not his therapist, nor his mommy, nor was he my fucking problem. So over time, I realized that he was just an energy vampire and sucked all the light out of me. So when I had this new revelation of getting my shit together again, I wasn't gonna hold back. I knew I constantly did the best I could in our relationship and just put his needs before mine all the time. So I was like, hey, this is how it is. And he took it poorly, naturally, because he didn't have any goals or anything figured out. And that just really wasn't my problem. I needed someone to compliment me and grow with me and be able to be as strong as I was. Otherwise, like, I'll go take off, and like, not saying that you're gonna drag me down, but like, obviously, like, more details to the story. Of course, there's always two sides to every story, two sides and the truth and yada, yada, yada. But this is like literally the fucking gist of it. And again, I knew where his head was at also. And we continued arguing over this for like weeks, in the first 2 weeks of January, actually. And funny story with that, we went out for his birthday dinner and he got piss fucking drunk and decided to start a fight with me over some random guy I hooked up with years ago. Like, okay, bro, screaming your fucking insecurities to me right now, buddy. Like, I couldn't help but laugh because it was literally so stupid. So not my fucking problem that I had a past and had past relations. Fucking everybody does. And if you get mad or take your insecurities out on your partner for their past relations, just fuck off. Just keep it to yourself. That's your own shit to deal with. That is not anyone else's problem but your own. Insecurity and jealousy are not good looks, okay? They are only just reflection of what's going on inside you, okay? It has nothing to do with the other person. So then we continue having the same conversation for the 50th fucking time. And finally, I saw it coming, but he never came home one night. And yep, you guessed it, he cheated on me. I was bartending during this time in my life, so I knew everyone in all the bars in downtown, and they all fucking saw him out with a bunch of bitches that night. Literally aired my dirty laundry out to everybody before I even knew about it. And I was instead home, clueless, with our cats, thinking and worrying that his emotional, manic ass was drunk driving and either got a DUI or killed himself or someone else, and just never heard from him. And I stayed up all night waiting and worrying, even though I had a meeting with my new mentor early in the morning and should have prioritized that. And then throughout like the next day, he never fucking came home, right? Never at all. And the next day he calls me. He ends up telling me 3 different versions of the story and like kept getting caught up in his own lies. And I'm like, dude, it's over. Like, I told you where I wanted to be. And also like, that's it. Like, you do that, just leave. Like, no hard feelings, man. Just literally go live your life. That's your choice, whatever. But like, at least like leave me out of it. Like, I am literally the type of person who has always said, like, my whole fucking life, I would rather my significant other text me something as brutal and dry as like, I'm literally going to hook up with someone right fucking now. We are done. I hate you. Then lie to me. I hate being lied to. Also, him cheating was just, his easy escape for self-sabotaging, because he always thought I was better than him and made me feel like shit for that and for my wins, even though I never treated him like that less than. And perfect example, I became a published author right before our breakup, and he literally made the whole entire day focused on him crying about how he doesn't know what he's doing in his life, which is why I love the quote, I am no longer shrinking myself for others. y'all can fucking choke. If you can't keep up, not my fucking problem. I can help. I love to help, but not when people won't help themselves. So this year, we are increasing our standards, hella increasing them. And I hope that fucking resonates for everybody. Like, literally just keep elevating your standards. You should always do that. You should always want best and better for yourself. Never stop, because you do deserve it. You deserve all the best in life. And yeah, just fucking, yeah. Literally, you do. Manifest that shit. Bring whatever the fuck you want into your vibration, you know? And then, so a couple weeks after the breakup, he moves out and like said he would split the rent with me for screwing me over, but of course he never did. And his cat needed to stay and some of his furniture, and this little piece will add up later, but for the first 2 weeks of my breakup, my guy bestie was to the motherfucking rescue. It was awesome. He was my emergency contact, literally the best coworker ever, my manager at work, and just did what the normal girlies would do during a breakup. He let me cry, but then like dragged me out of bed, and we got drunk, and we went to the movies, and we went shopping, and we went to the gym, and like we did the great bestie breakup routines, right? And like this kid was my emergency contact. No one had ever got me, understood me like he did. But then the woman's worst fear in an opposite sex friendship occurred. The truth came out. And like, not really, like it didn't actually, but it did in my head, you know? And we got into a big fight after the great bestie breakup duty happened. And I thought vibes were high, you know? It was like, okay, cool. At least I still have my bestie, even though I just got cheated on and even though all of these other things are happening. And through the argument, the words he was using, the attitude, it was like, honestly, like in those moments, the years of our friendship flashed before my eyes, and I couldn't believe that like I didn't realize it sooner. He was in love with me. It was every moment we had experienced that I was sitting there remembering shit and gasping to myself. I would be home like for a couple days after like this argument and just keep getting like another example and being like, oh, add that shit to the proof. The proof was deeper than the pudding in this one. It was wild. I literally just kept getting things and like even more examples, and I'm like, oh my God. And then of course, like the breakup happens, which is a day he couldn't have waited for because he hated L number 3 and I together. And then he realized that even though I was single now, I still wouldn't ever get with him. And that wasn't what the fight was about, but it was very much hinted. And he flipped his shit on me and ruined our entire friendship. So I had those 2 breakups, and we all know the friendship breakups hurt on a whole nother level. Like, damn, I still think about one of my friendship breakups from years and years ago. So like, to take away from this is we just need to honor the people in our lives for being a part of said chapters, but not the entire book. Not everyone needs to grow with you, and that's totally okay. On another note, I wanted to add that it's also on my goals was like my health, and like to have the like really good health for this next year of my life. And in the first week of January, my doctor was like, okay, yeah, sis, we need to get you right. So for 90 days, you will be eating no sugar, not even fucking fruit, no gluten, no dairy, my own fucking body weight in protein, basically, and hella water, hella supplements. I am Italian and popped out of the womb eating bread and mozzarella and pasta. So like this was a major identity crisis. That's all I ate. I lived off of carbs. I lived off of sugar. I had the biggest sweet tooth. And then all of this shit following that change. And I'm like, okay, so remember how I talked about like manifestation earlier and how shit will drop off? Y'all, I set my goals at the end of December of where I wanted to be in life, and life literally said, okay, well, these fuckers won't make it. They're gone. You set your goals then, January, disappear. Boom, you want better health? Boom, we're getting it. We're doing a cleanse. We're doing this shit. Boop, done. Okay, Nikki, now you have more room for the better people who will help me get to my goals faster and to come in, because like you literally can't bring in the new stuff until you declutter. It's feng shuiing your mind, feng shuiing your life. So now I need to remind you also, though, it's still fucking January. Like, it's still just the start of the year. So still January, still getting all that shit thrown at me. And one more cherry on top, just as a little extra treat from Miss Nicolina, because why not? The universe loves me. The universe provides. It really does though, but that's just a little extra treat for me. My family member who has a 3-year-old had relapsed on heroin and went back to rehab. And mind you, this absolutely crushes me when thinking of the child because I was that child and they lived so far away and there was literally nothing I could do at the time to help other than be an emotional support. And I tried to use my connections from the work I did with the overdose crisis. And sometimes you really just can't control a situation and you just have to surrender and feel the feelings and pray for the best. So feeling very powerless then, very lonely. But wow, hello 2023. Hello January. New year, new what the fucks, you know? Always something. Life really is always surprising me in all the best ways. And it's really funny how last January was like incredibly fucking traumatizing for me, but because of how the rest of the year played out, like holy shit, whatever happened then feels like nothing. And I just gave you the lowdown. That was a lot. Those were big changes. Those were big catastrophic things that all happened in my life. And I also started working out again for the first time in forever. But like, I have like zero feelings towards those situations because it feels like ages ago because I went through so much more and healed so much more the rest of the year that was just fucking nothing. And it was just something that happened, which is definitely the point in it and definitely all about the growth in it. Like when we are able to look back and acknowledge that it made us stronger and got us to where we are today, that's a beautiful thing and something to be said and something to be grateful for. And in a way, I'm glad my ex cheated on me. I'm glad I lost my best friend. I'm not glad somebody relapsed on heroin, but they are doing better and life goes on. And but without those losses, I would have never had the gains I did. So hello February. Still so fucking early in the year. And it gets better. It definitely did. And the main thing that I took away from all of that is people really just come and go and they're only meant to be in your life for a certain amount of time. And also raise your fucking standards. Oh my God. That was the last time I tried to do that. I can save him. Oh, raise your fucking standards, everybody. The first week of February, Bestie Kelly came to visit and to take care of me and do the good bestie duties, but she wouldn't break my heart like the other bestie did. Instead, we had a blast, actually. She gave me all the love I needed and more, and that weekend was also iconic in more ways than one. Like, all right, let me paint the picture for y'all. It was a chilly Saturday night. My bestie Kelly sat in front of my bartending well all night. And for those that don't know what a well is, it's just your station. And the night grew busier and busier. And a group of people to the left of Kelly were hanging out all night. They drank 1,000,000 espresso martinis, and we all shared some laughs. They bought Kelly drinks, and she kept saying that one of the guys was definitely interested in me. And when I bartended, that shit flew over my head all the time. Someone had to blatantly say, I am interested in you, for me to realize, it was just a part of the job. You get normalized to that shit. And that night was pretty wild. We were very busy, and the crowd was loving the music. And that same group of people, towards the end of the night, that same group of people eventually began to trickle out. One guy was closing his tab, and when I went to go pick it up, he said, I left my number. I am new to town and really need new friends to show me around. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And then saw that he also tipped me hundreds of dollars. And my bestie Kelly was like, oh my God, he's so cute and whatever. And I'm like, oh, not really my type. And also it was so soon after the breakup. So I was just like, oh, I don't know. But we go home and we giggle about it. Then Kelly had to go back to where she lives, and I ended up taking 5 days to finally message him, and we made a plan to get drinks on the following Monday night. And I truthfully was only messaging him because I felt obligated to go and meet new people, because that's what you should do after a breakup or whatever they say. And everybody was just like, Nikki, come on, go do that and go meet new people. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And he was also a little short for my liking. So that part was also why I was hesitant, We love a short king though, pop off, love short kings. So I'm hyping myself up to go and being like, bitch, it's just drinks. Like, just go, try to enjoy yourself. Also, if you hate it, you can leave. And and I hadn't dated in forever, so I completely forgot that it's like girl code to, not just get in a stranger's car like on a first date. Like, all girls know to not get picked up immediately. And like, and what did I naturally do? I got in the stranger's car, and I obviously made it out alive though. And mind you, also, this was the first time that I drank all year, and like, God, I'm so sorry for my ADHD brain. Like, I just be forgetting shit and remembering it later on. And so I cut out drinking in the beginning of the year in the same time when my diet changed and all this stuff. So I go out and get drinks with him, had like 2 vodka sodas, and find out that he has the same birthday as my sister, which the astrology bitch in me loved, and found out this bitch was a very fancy, intelligent lawyer who likes running and likes to travel and bougie, studied at Oxford and spoke multiple languages. And I'm like, oh my God, you are everything 9-year-old me wanted to be. I had also, like, literally 9-year-old me was like, let's go get a briefcase and go to Oxford. And okay, so I like had also considered going to law school, because you can do that with a communications degree. So it was my backup if all else failed. So naturally I was fascinated by this, like, great, awesome network connection. I can learn and absorb shit. And at the time I was hitting dead ends with my career, and it was about to be like the 2-year mark from my college graduation, which was the exact time frame I gave myself to find something with communication. So I was like, well, time to start looking. And then this person like fell into my lap. So that was dope. I was like, cool, I can ask questions. I believe the universe provides and you should seize every opportunity. So that's what I got from that. And I was like, okay. So that's what I got from that, and was like, okay, I can like absorb this shit, and just whatever. And I'm not like really sure what he got from it, but he drove me home, didn't try anything, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, cool, that was it. Told Kelly it was fine. I made it out alive and all that. A couple weeks later, it is now March. I just started my yoga teacher training, and that would continue every single Saturday and Sunday mornings from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for 5 fucking months. But it also coincidentally, there's no such thing as coincidences, but coincidentally, lined up with my moving out date. I knew August was going to be like super, super eventful and a lot of chapters closing, and I had a lot of different goals, and I wanted to travel just right at the end of it and take like months off and just whatever. So I was already like seeing that out and building towards that, right? And I was still bartending, but wanted to find like a 9 to 5. Like, literally nothing sounded sexier for me than a 9 to 5 and like a corporate job. I was so tired of eating dinner at 4 or 5 in the morning. I was also done with like getting degraded all the time. I had been in the industry for 9 years. I wanted my weekends. So I was aiming to get out of that, or at least find different jobs during the day. And also my rent doubled, in case anyone forgot. So I wanted and needed more money. One day I found a like 4-leaf clover for literally the first time ever, which is so cool. If anyone has found multiple ones, you are a lucky duck. I love that. I would love to be around you that night. Though, like later that night though, I was feeling off. When you like want to hang out with somebody, but you don't want to hang out with anybody specifically. It was like, it's just the weirdest feeling ever, and you can never like pinpoint it, and you're like, bitch, what do you want? So like off-putting, and I couldn't put my finger on like what was wrong, what I should do. And I was just sitting on my couch kind of like not like pouting, but just like, what is this like weird feeling right now? And that guy I got drinks with, he ended up texting me if I wanted to get a massage that night, because he had an extra. I put in air quotes. You never know. And me, literally obsessed with massages, I was like, wow, this is my lucky day. I literally got the 4-leaf clover and all of that stuff. So obviously I said yes. And then he tells me the time and what time to meet him, and to meet him at his before and whatever. And never say no to blessings in your life. Like, a free 80-minute massage was just plopped into my life. If I said no, what does that tell the universe? That tells the universe that I don't think I'm worthy of these nice things and whatever. So say yes, take that shit, take those gifts. They are for you and whatever. And be safe, of course. Obviously, I was aware of my grounds. But also the funny part is I kind of panicked for like the next 2 hours up until we went, because I was like, holy shit, what if this is a couple's massage? So that was funny. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just jump that bridge when I get there. So I got to his house, and it was fucking disgusting. It was so messy. He was like barely moved in, had boxes everywhere, was still living out of a suitcase, had been in the city for months now. So I looked around and was like, dude, are you fucking depressed or something? And he told me he was like used to having a maid, and I just work all the time and blah, blah, blah. And y'all, okay, so rent, remember, and that was literally all I was thinking about at this time in my life. And so, well, I love to clean, and I offered to do it, and we planned for me to come by that weekend. So naturally, I'm like, damn, this really is my fucking day. And it was a Wednesday. I love Wednesdays. I was born on a Wednesday. It was awesome. I remember that day, clear as fucking day. And so I'm like, fuck yeah, I got a little extra cash for that. Super cool. He told me he would pay me like a couple $100. And I was like, hell fucking yeah, see you this weekend, dog. Awesome. Dap me up. Now let's go get massages. And we go and get the massages. And I actually had the best massage of my entire fucking life. Shout out that bitch Dory, my motherfucking queen. And it was on International Women's Day. That was hot. That was so hot. Afterwards, he literally said, Happy International Women's Day. And I was like, wait, that's hot. And then afterwards, both of us, feeling euphoric naturally. The vibes shifted for sure. It was a little less platonic and a little more romantic now. And I don't know if like anyone has ever gotten a massage with someone like that, but it's a different vibe and it's vulnerable as fuck. It's not just something you do platonically. I'm sorry. It's not. Unless you're one of the girlies or the gays going together. Sorry, I don't make the fucking rules. Afterwards, so now, my brain's like, okay, I feel the different energy in the air, and we were having, great conversations again. We go and get ramen, and then, I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm gonna have to friend zone this kid. He was 30. I'm like, I'm gonna have to friend zone him, and I need to not have it interfere with the bag, of course, obviously, I don't do that. And so then I go home, and my cup is so fucking full. That lovely Lady Dory truly got all the previous month's stress all out of me. I felt fucking divine. I felt renewed. I felt rejuvenated. It was incredible. It was the first time I actually felt good all of 2023. And again, we're in March. And so we make the plan for me to go over there and clean that weekend. And when I get there, y'all are never gonna believe what happened that day, because it truly is what was the catalytic event for him to become L number 4. And I'm just gonna have to tell you what happens next week in another episode, because this bitch needs a part 2. This bitch could honestly take up days of my time explaining all the bullshit that occurred from him, but part 2 for sure. And again, reminder, I'm still only in March at this fucking point, so again, buckle up. This is a crazy year for me, and lots of tea, hence another episode. Appreciate you all for listening. The song of the week I'm going to leave you with is Good Kisser by Lake Street Drive. So relevant to my last year, and just a very relatable song for pretty much anybody and any ex you have or anything. Sing it in the shower, sing it in the car, dance to it, sing it to your ex, just enjoy it and have fun. Also a little bit of foreshadowing in it too for the next episode. So if y'all can fucking guess any of it from that, let me know in the comments at the end of the episode, in the polls. Message me on Instagram at Heard You Like It Raw. Hope you all have an amazing week, and I can't wait for y'all to hear the rest of this. You're gonna die. I love you all so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up for yourself today and every day. Love yourself, love each other, be kind. Peace and blessings, my friends. I'm out.